Now for the hair of this girl, I'm going to use normal yarn, acrylic yarn, this one. And what I did is I wrapped around, in this case is notebook, because it's pretty much the length I want, plus some centimeters so I can style it. So always use the same thing to wrap it around in case you need to cut more. So wrap it as many times as you think you will need, and then cut only in one side. And there you have the pieces for your hair. And what are we going to do? First of all is mark in the head of your doll the area you are going to put the head. So don't put it so near of the eyebrows, and also not so close to the top of the head. So let's say like this, and make this shape. At the top. Here you need to reach this point of the ear and then round it like this, and come down like this. It's just, it doesn't have to be perfect because we have the stitches that we are going to use to attach the hair, so it's only like a guide. And once you're done with that, you need to take individual strips of yarn. I'm going to start in the back, so I'm going to start here. What you need is to introduce the hook, the crochet hook, like this, and pull the yarn inside and out. Then take these two yarns inside of the loop and tighten it. Pull it really tight. For this technique of attaching hair, you need to be sure that your head is filled properly. You need to fill these heads like really tight. You need to get a very hard head when you are making this technique of hair. Otherwise, if you don't put more than enough filling in the head, it will get deformed, because we are going to pull a lot the stitches of this head. So you need to be sure the head is strong enough. That means like filled really tight. You are going to continue doing the same in every stitch. I'm going to work by lines here. You can count the stitches. I do it like by eye, but you can count the stitches, like after the ear I have 1, 2, and then the third one. So in the same line after the ear, 1, 2, and the third one. So this will be my last stitch of this line of hair. You can mark it with a pin. So next we are going to, don't jump any line of stitches, otherwise you will have holes in between the hair of your doll. So if you don't care about that and you want more like a light hair for your doll, you can jump one line of stitches, but I don't really recommend it. So continue doing the same for all this line. Just remember the stitch hole where you first introduce the hook, it will be the stitch where your loop, initial loop, will come out. Pull it as much as you need to take the other two extremes of the yarn in through the loop, and pull it really tight so you will not have this big knot on the roots of the hair. The smaller these knots, the better. So I'm going to continue doing that in all lines of my hair, following the shape I marked before. And once I reach the top of the head, I'm going to work in circles as the stitches are. Like this doesn't have much science, you only have to need to follow, sorry, you only need to follow the lines of the stitches. I recommend you to be patient and don't miss any stitch or any line of stitches. And once you finish all the shape, your hair will be ready to style. So I'm showing you the speed up process here, and I am doing as I told you, just following the lines of stitches on my doll's head and keeping my knots really tight. If you have a thicker yarn for your hair, then you can skip some lines. It's actually up to you. Maybe you want lighter hair. For this specific doll, I need a lot of volume on the roots and something lighter on the tips of the hair. So that's why I'm not skipping any stitch or any line of stitches, but you decide depending on the needs of your doll and also in the yarn you want to use for the hair. Once we finished all the back part and the sides like this, then we are going to be sure that we didn't miss any space. That will be evident at the end when our doll will be ready. And now we are going to follow the circle lines of stitches on the top of the head. Be sure to don't leave any space in the front line, and also the knots, keep them in this line on the top of the head so it will not be visible on her forehead. Once you finish, your hair will be ready for a style. Okay, so once you attached all the hair and you're sure there's no gaps in between the roots, now it's completely up to you how you want to style the hair. It looks great like this, but it's so heavy for her, so I can't keep it like this. So one option is, just to give you some ideas, one option is keep the yarn like this, only cut it like in layers so it will be lighter. Or another option is to brush the hair now with the metal brush. So brush it until you get to this. Of course, when you do this, when you brush the yarn, it reaches some point that you can't pull it more because it breaks. So if you decide to brush the yarn, be aware that you will not be able to keep this long, for example. For that, if you want like a straight hair, like in this style, you will need to use synthetic hair, or keep the yarn just like this without the brush it. So in the case of the hair for this doll, what I am doing is brushing it. I'm going to brush it all like this, and then I'm going to style it and show you how it comes out. Okay, so after I brushed her hair, I got something like this. I can keep it like this and style it, but I am going to straight. I'm going to set my iron in the lowest settings I have, and I'm going to start in the bottom part. Don't leave it so long because you can burn it. And try to reach the roots. So you can reduce some volume in the roots in case you have like more volume. Continue doing this until you achieve the look you want. I'm going to show you how she looks after I straight all her hair. So this is a hair after I straightened it, and as you can see here is longer in some parts, so we need to trim it and style it as you want. I'm going to just cut the tips, and my doll will be ready. And this is how my doll looks now. I didn't do anything else other than cut the tips, keep the volume on the roots and lighter on the longer parts. Check your pattern to see how to finish the face of your doll. If you still don't have your pattern for this doll, I'm going to give you the link in the description box below this video. Also check that information because I'm going to leave you any additional information for this tutorial there. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you the next time.